Hey everybody, it's Unclear. Outcome Memories released 2 days ago as I'm writing the script, a day after my birthday too. I just wanted to make a video talking about the current balance issues of Outcome Memories, and overall just feedback of the game entirely. Keep in mind I'm not trying to bash the game at all by making this video. The game just came out and I'm really trying to give criticism on some things in the game, just in case any of them don't see this video at all. I'm pretty sure this is the only time I'm going to be making a video like this as well, unless it gets popular and I decide to make more. I pretty much just make any content I want to out of boredom. Keep in mind that this script can be somewhat outdated, as devs are working really fast on this game and do a bunch of balance changes, so some complaints I have here could be fixed in the future. Anyways, without further ado, let's get into the video. Let's start off with some positive notes about the game. This game was so worth the wait. This game feels so much more better than Forsaken, especially TD with the balancing. TD was easy to pick up on, however, it felt really skill-based and the survivor's abilities felt weak and underpowered, and the stuns just felt like hitting the EXEs with a pillow as it would just get right back up. Forsaken, I don't really know what to say about Forsaken other than I just personally think Outcome Memories deserves the popularity Forsaken has as well. I'm not saying that Forsaken doesn't deserve its popularity, I'm only saying that I think Outcome Memories also deserves it as well. As for Outcome Memories on the other hand, it feels smoother and is much more fun to play overall, as well as being more balanced with its abilities and stuns, besides a few here and there that are slightly overtweaked. The cosmetics and replayability is also an upside that GD didn't add. It was going to have that in 1.4, but as most people watching this know, it never came out. The models are well made, the maps are well made, and haven't really been hard to get lost in, at least for me because I'm a quick learner. The art was well made, almost everything is well made. However, there are some issues I have with the game. That's why I'm even making this video after all. I will be getting to each of them, from the smallest nitpicks to the biggest that in my opinion majorly affect gameplay. Starting off with the nitpicks that I will be quickly going over. 1. Knuckles is a perfectly fine character other than the fact his counter time is way too long and his hitbox simply doesn't just take priority whenever he's using said ability. Same thing with Eggman's shield as well. I personally feel like Metal should also have a priority hitbox as he has 50 damage resistance and 75 more base HP than all of the survivors except Sonic. It almost feels too long, and if the ring's opened and the last person dies, the ring just closes. However, almost being too long isn't really too big of an issue depending on the survivor and if they're good at the game or not. And that's it for all of the quick little nitpicks that I had that I don't really think affect gameplay too much. Now it's time for some of the major issues I have with the game. The first thing I'll be talking about is the only killer variable in 0.1, and I'm writing this, 2011X. 2011X is a generally strong killer for a starter, having 4 incredibly good abilities at his disposal, being a fast heavy hitter with his rage mode, and overall being a fun killer. However, he's slightly overpowered when it comes to certain factors. He does 41 damage in his base form, despite dealing 50 in his rage mode, which is too strong, especially in the base, and is slightly enraged since every character besides Monosonic gets the floor wiped with them. 2011X's third ability, named Charge, is also somewhat overtuned. How Charge works is that when 2011X catches you with Charge, you are put into a minigame where you have to hit the right button displayed below a bar that fills up every time you press the button displayed at the right time. If you fail to make the bar full, you will slowly die to the health drain that is caused throughout the entire minigame. The reason why I personally think it can sort of shift from being easy to hard sometimes is that the bar is just really easy to fill out sometimes, and then other times it just takes a lot more correct hits and is longer in general. I don't really have an issue with this, I just find it rather strange. What I do have an issue with is that if you're half health and or below, and 2011 uses his charge while his rage is activated, the health drain is a lot more extreme, and whenever you get brought to 25 HP in charge, you just immediately die. And it uses your last 10 HP as your down health? I'm not really too sure, but I think this is the case because there have been cases where I have had few numbers above the exact number of damage 2011 does, and yet I still get killed. I personally find this a little bit of a dumb and weird way to make the HP system work since there really isn't a point to adding this besides, I don't know, making the game more stressful and fun. A pretty weird step if you ask me. God's Trickery, 2011X's third ability, is also somewhat hard to understand without someone directly telling you how it works, as the game's info tab on 2011X in the shop is incredibly outdated and none of the survivors have an info tab as well. As I'm writing this, the devs had stated that they are going to update the info tab in later updates, which is good. If the killer server wipes, almost 9 times out of 10, the survivor gets no cash from it because F rank, while the killer is the only one to get cash because of how easy it can be to server wipe. And this is how I transition to another problem I have with not just being the killer, but it being the game in general. Hitboxes. Oh my god, they're way worse than Forsaken. How did I get hit here? It doesn't feel like pain is the issue at all. More so how the game handles the hitboxes. If you were to go into the settings and turn on viewable hitboxes, it looks like the hitboxes are behind your character, only while you're moving. I'm not too sure if this is actually how the game handles hitboxes, but if it is, that's a pretty poor decision to make in my eyes. Now let's talk about the small issues I have with one map, that being not perfect. The bumpers used to be very annoying to deal with, but they have thankfully decreased the amount of them. And now the only major issue left is the damage that the void deals if you fall. That being 35. A lot of people, including myself, think that this is way too punishing for amount of damage and should be nerfed down to something like 15. Any number below 15 feels too weak and people could just abuse the hell out of it and just fall out of the map continuously to escape the killer with ease. And those are all the current issues I have with this game. Again, I am not trying to be aggressive with anything I'm saying here. I'm just trying to give my personal thoughts on how the game is, now that I got to play it. Despite everything I said in this video, I am loving this game so far, and I truly can't wait to see what this game has in store for us in future updates. That's all I have to say in this video, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.